I bought 70 rental units back to back.
Oh, let's get a round of applause on that, brother.
I appreciate that.
That's awesome. 70 units. Awesome.
70 units.
Hey, gang. The Headley Group Real Estate Show is a video audio podcast designed to highlight and interview real estate professionals, entrepreneurs, and other fields alike. The mission of our podcast is to acknowledge people of color and show their successes, and in return, help our audience learn from them and pick up tips and tricks in building additional income.
Hey, ladies and gents, this is Mike Headley. We are back. Another great episode on Headley Group Real Estate Show. I got to give a definitely special shout out to this brother we have on here, because I share a lot of commonalities what I saw that this brother is doing in the community. Brother has a fabulous story. YouTube really highlighted it. This brother is a multi-unit investor. This brother is knowledgeable, literally took it from the ground, working on Wall Street. Took time to go down to the local bookstores and soaked up that knowledge, right? He said I didn't want to buy no books, which I did the same thing. Get that knowledge from the books, put it back on the shelf, and actually use that as well as going to college, getting his MBA, working on Wall Street. And he happened to retire himself, which I'm gonna let him highlight that. But let's give a warm welcome to Mr. KAYR with KAYJAY Consulting. How you doing, brother?
Doing excellent. Thanks for having me on the platform. I'm fired up. Impressed with what you're doing, and it's just crazy. This is an exciting time to just be an investor and a businessman. So I'm just glad to have the opportunity to share my story.
Well, brother, like we tell all our guests and as well as the viewers watching, we be honest, we keep it real on our show. We saw what this brother was doing, and we asked him, hey, would you mind sharing that to our community? Because again, you may be an inspiration to maybe not 1,000, just 2. And that could have impact and have that transformational wealth, which you talked about.
Yes.
Take us back to when you said, you know something, I don't like that my family's paying rent and we don't own anything.
Gotcha.
What was that point when you said, I need to take this to the next level?
Gotcha. For one thing, I grew up in Philadelphia with 6 siblings, single parent household. My mother raised us. We were on welfare. For the kids that don't know what that is, that's the EBT card that you use nowadays.
Exactly.
I remember distinctively, like in kindergarten, we were so poor. I remember an elementary teacher bringing my favorite KFC, which is original chicken. So if you see me, make sure you have that. And then she messed up on the side. She had macaroni and cheese and mashed potatoes. And I'm a coleslaw guy, so you gotta give me some vegetables. But I remember that story distinctively because I could look up to the stars, because the whole 3rd floor was missing because our house burned down and we were missing the 3rd floor. So I'll never forget that moment in my life. And that's when I had a burning desire to achieve financial independence and change a life trajectory for myself. Even though I was really young, that's when it really started to burn inside of me. And so from there, I went to public school in Philadelphia, was a knucklehead in middle school, but really turned around in high school and graduated valedictorian, class president, school president, ran track and cross country. Also did football, was a captain, went off, Bowdoin College rewarded me for my hard work with a scholarship. Then I was able to explore the finance food chain on Wall Street, got a job on Wall Street, invested on Wall Street, invested in real estate. My first time in 2009, had 1 unit. By 2018, I had 9 units. By 2019, I had 35 units. And by 2020, I had 105 rental units. So I went from making $10,000 a year in annual income in 2009 to making $85,000 a year in annual income in 2018 to now making over $100,000 per month. And I was very fortunate to be able to retire in August of 2020. So it's been quite a journey to be able to go from being extraordinarily broke to being in a position to create transformational wealth, helping family members and friends achieve financial independence and also achieve financial wealth. So it's been quite a run.
Well, brother, all that good stuff you say, we got to unpack some of that, right? Because you literally hit us with the general pieces. Now we need to get in detail for somebody that may want to if you mind sharing just some stories, so somebody could be interested in following them steps. Let's go take it back to, you worked on Wall Street, and I'm quite sure with that knowledge and information that helped transition you into the multi-unit space. The question is, why not? I think you said you own one or two single families. Why not go heavy on single family? Why directly in multi-family? And did that Wall Street knowledge help you out?
So what tends to happen is a lot of people feel, and majority of investors feel really comfortable in a residential space with the 1 to 4 units. It's like the single family, duplex, triplex, or fourplex. And I call them single family because you could qualify to get a loan, a FHA loan for either of them. But if you want to do 5 units and up, you can't get a FHA government loan. So
Right.
what I realized is that you may get actually a high cash flow off of the single family. So when I first started, say for instance, I'm making $4,000 a year in cash flow. That's after everything's paid off, the property management fee, mortgage, one. And then by year, let's say year 10, I bought one every year. So by year 10, I make $40,000. I own 10 individual houses. They have 10 separate mortgages. What tends to happen is that after you make that $40,000 in year 10, now you can use that money to buy an apartment building. So apartment buildings, they have higher requirements for down payments. The individual houses, you can put as low as 3.5% down up to 25%. But when you buy apartment buildings, you have to put 20% down or more. So actually I had to take the time to build the cash flow and the reserves in order to qualify in the net worth to buy big apartment buildings. Now, working on Wall Street, what I learned is that the big boys, they like the single families, but the big money is owning the apartment buildings because the valuation is based on the value, the cash flow of that individual building versus on the comps. When you buy a single family, they're focused on the quality of the borrower. So my credit profile, my credit score, my debt to income, and my income, how long I've been at the job, how much I make. But when you buy the apartment buildings, 5 units and up, it's focused on the quality of the deal. They want to make sure that that deal generates enough cash to service the debt, and also that you have a net worth equivalent of the size of the loan, or someone on your team has the equivalency, because you're in the big boy league. So I realized my elevation, my growth over time was that I was going to have to go bigger if I wanted to get bigger cash flows.
You mentioned team, and with my knowledge with the multifamily unit space is, unless you're extremely lucky or you got a lot of capital, there's never one person that owns an entire building, right? So, and that's what I think. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Is it you, or is it a collection of?
Because I took the time. That's the reason why it took me from year 1 to year 9. Because I kept the 9 to 5 job so I could live off of that and become a master at that. And then every property I did a cash out refi for, and the cash flows, I kept saving all that. So therefore you could save several $100,000. And then in year 10, you could buy your own property by yourself. So I bought my own apartment buildings in the beginning by myself. Nobody owned my first 12 unit. No one owns my 6 unit. No one owns my other 6 unit. No one owns my triplex. So when I start buying those apartment buildings, I did it on my own because I was smart enough to keep my 9 to 5 and build up that cash reserve to put the down payment. So when you want to say I bought my first 12 unit was $450,000. I put my own 25% down, which means I had to have $112,500 sitting in the bank. Then when I bought like a 6 unit, I bought that for like $325,000. I put my own like $80,000, $70,000 down out of my own bank account because I took 10 years to build up my own reserves, so I can say I own 100% of this building. So a lot of people, when they get in a syndication, they're buying apartment buildings, but they only own 3 or 4%. That's because they're just trying to race and show that they own the breadth. But instead, I took my time so I can have more ownership of my buildings. So therefore, I don't own a lot. I'm not like a lot of other investors that have other people on their deals. I'm not like that because I took my time to build up my own wealth to buy my apartment buildings.
Brother, I gotta give you a round of applause on that. I mean, really, because so many nuggets is in there. Because all I'm hearing about was syndication. Again, I was wrong my statement, but you corrected that. No, I took 10 years off. I took 10 years of my time, put reserves up because I knew the long-term play. Instead of being a part of a syndication, like you said, own a small percentage, and you really don't have too much authority when it comes to because it's a group, it's a collective decision.
Yes.
Right. Wow. I commend you on that.
I'm the managing member of my LLCs. So a lot of people, they're trying to run and build big portfolios, but they don't have any power. So if that building brings in, let's say a building bringing $300,000 and you only have 5%, you're only entitled to like $15,000 of that revenue. But if you own, like my building, some buildings I own 100%. My 24 unit I bought last year, I own 67%. So when it brings in $300,000, if you just use 70%, that's $210,000 I'm entitled to. So that is the big difference between me and other investors. Some other investors, they don't have any power because they never had money. They don't know how to grow. They don't understand how capital work in America. So once you understand how capital work in America, then you can decide that you create your own tables. It's not like you're begging people to be at your table. So you're running around saying, I'm a sponsor, I own 5%. Or you hear people, they don't want to disclose how much they own. They'll say, I just own a lot. And that's a cop-out because they don't really have control of their assets.
Brother, I mean, like I said, kudos to you. But now the question, what everybody wants to know is, you waited 10 years, you had the high-paying income job. I'm gonna let you tell again. I seen the video. How was you living in your personal life to make sure you had to watch expenses?
So what I did is I always live below my means. So regardless of what my regular job is, if you live below your means and you're buying these properties, and a lot of investors do this, especially in our community, they'll buy something for $20,000. You put like, let's say 17,000 in, you're all in at 37. It appraises for, let's say, 115,000, you get $86,000 back. And what happens is some of us new investors will go spend that $86,000 and have fun versus put it aside. And if you do that 10 times, now you have $860,000 saved. So now you can use that big piggy bank for down payments in order to buy apartment buildings. So what I said is that my 9-to-5 job, I wanted to be the best at my 9-to-5 job so that I can live off of that and live below my means. So instead of like buying I don't own a car. So I said my flex is not going to be that I own a Benz. My flex is if I take someone on a date, I say, come on, let's go look at some of my buildings with my name on it. So that's more of my flex. And so if you live below your means when you're younger, you want to live farther from work, because it'll be cheaper to live there. You're not close to amenities. You want to take public transportation or ride a bike or carpool. You're going to save money. The other thing you're going to do is have roommates while you're in your 20s and you're trying to build up this cash flow, because it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. And so you can benefit from the power of compound interest and also benefit from being able to stack more money aside. Say, for instance, you want to buy a $50,000 apartment building. So if you had to put 20% down, you need $10,000. So imagine if you just said, I'm going to save $500 every month for the next 24 months. That's $12,000. Now you have a down payment to buy a small apartment building, and you keep doing that over and over. If you do what's necessary, then do what's possible. You'll find yourself doing the impossible.
Hey guys, thank you for watching our show. We're going to interrupt you real quickly. We are in the business of referrals. If you know someone looking to buy or sell, residential or commercial, here in the North Carolina area, refer us. We really appreciate that.
Most of us don't have a roadmap. And so in my courses, I teach people, how do you analyze markets? How do you analyze deals? And how do you come up with a roadmap so that you know where the hell you're going versus getting lost and running into walls?
And I like what you said, because it seems like, and again, we'll dive into the course, but it seems like the course is more of a long-term play versus trying to buy something tomorrow if you're not able to. Am I hearing correctly?
So that is 100% correct, because what I think is that things done well are done soon enough. And so I want you to really think through it. I don't want you to say, for instance, if you're just going to flip, I can teach you how to flip. But when you flip, you actually pay higher in taxes. With state and federal taxes, you're paying like almost close to 50%. So I don't encourage you to do that. I'd rather for you own the property, hold it for a while, cash out, refi, repeat, save, build, and then you can build a larger portfolio. That's what I encourage people to do. But we teach you how to do both. But I think that the person that makes the most money is the one that really gets the most assets and make them cash flowing over time. It's hard to keep coming up with new ideas. You're going to get burned out.
Do you take in what they call the BRRRR strategy?
Yes, we do. Yep, I do the BRRRR strategy. So for all my properties, that's initially what I did with all the individual houses. I did BRRRR strategy, but I will reinvest. I will set the money aside, make sure I can pay the monthly interest payment, mortgage payment, and then the rest, you just want to build up until you're ready to swing. You don't have to swing at every ball that come your way. But once you have that cash, that egg nest, then you can just go buck wild. You can buy a lot of buildings on your own.
And evidently, what I assume, like you just said a minute ago, you don't swing at everything. You analyze a lot of deals before you grab that one.
Yes. Yeah. And so that's what we do. We try to analyze, stack the odds in our favor. So we want to make sure is a low crime environment. Is it a good building? Are the neighbors You're doing all this analysis to make sure the odds are stacked in your favor. And because I think that things done well are done soon enough, I don't want you to rush. Imagine if you're looking at a computer screen and you're the security guard at the mall and you have 50 computer screens. You're going to have a difficult time identifying the issue. But if I told you to focus on one deal a year, you're going to be able to focus on that one computer screen. You're going to tell me if there's any issues as a security guard. You can catch it, capture it. So therefore, that's why I tell people, I need you the riches are in the niches. I don't need you to try to be a real estate thought. You're trying to do Airbnb. You're trying to flip land. You're flipping property. You're actually a buy and wholesale investor. You're doing wholesaling. You just a thought. You just sleeping with every part of real estate. I think that is a mistake.
Okay, I like that. I like the terminology. You all over the place because so it's similar to what that great book, The One Thing, is talking about. Focus on that one thing and really develop. Because I'm quite sure by you being now that you've progressed so much in your multifamily space, so many different deals come at you now, like the land flips, and do you automatically turn it away because that's not my thing?
Yes, I turn it away.
You turn it away. Okay, you turn it away.
And the reason why you want it, you got to think long term, right? So not only what I tell people is that you got to do the three C's and the 3 R's. One is intellectual capital. That means you're going to educate yourself or you're going to get taught from someone else. The next thing is going to be financial capital. Understand how to use other people's money and how to use your own money and make money. The third thing is social capital. How do I build relationships with people so I can leverage and affect change in people's lives? And then you have the 3 R's, which is a track record. You need to prove to people that you do one thing extraordinarily well. That's your track record. And then you have relationships that you leverage. And ultimately, the 2 R's will come up to result in a reputation. And that reputation will precede yourself. And as you think about going out to raise money and marketing and be considered a thought leader, a lot of people are going to look at you as a person who's an expert if you've been focused on 1 or 2 areas for a very long time, at least 10 years. People are going to say, I'll give that person millions of dollars. The banks, the lenders, everybody, investors, because they're saying he is not a jack of all trades. He is definitely a master. And so I grew up in Philadelphia where you'll be at the barbershop and one day you have the crackhead coming in and talking about, yo, I got those t-shirts, what you need. Next day he like, yo, I got a PlayStation, tell me what y'all need. Next day he talking about, I got hot dogs and sausages. I said, I never want to be the crackhead. And I never want to be the real estate thought. Because working on Wall Street, I realized that the people who were experts, whether it's Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos, these people are experts in their particular fields and they get rewarded. The world will really reward you if you have read more books, have done more deals, have worked in certain industries for a very long time. You will be rewarded as an expert. So that's what I focus on versus trying to sleep with every deal that comes my way. But I would say as you become more well off, then you have excess capital that you can start investing in different things. But as you're building your reputation, I wouldn't advise that.
Great point. Now that you're at the level where you're at, do you take seed money now, other investors, or you just focus solely on you and your team?
So what happened is in 2020, after I ran through majority of my money, then people started to reach out to me because of my reputation, because I was so successful. And so I'm very selective about who I decide to invest with. So my business partner, Jody, he was first a debt. He was a student first, then a debt investor. Then he became a partner where we invested together in 2 of my apartment buildings. So I am in a different league. So typically I tell people, hey, at first used to be, you give me 50,000, 100 grand. Now you gotta give me $250,000 if you want to invest with me, because I want to cut out all the bull crap. And so it's I play in a different league now.
Got you. Differently. It's funny you say that. I see Carter, I think one of LeBron James' partners that does his businesses, and he was interviewing Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson said, I used to do deals here. I can deal with you. Now my deals is here. Yeah. So I can't really deal with you as much. Exactly. But so now the wonderful world that we live in with all the chaos in it, COVID happened. How did that impact your business, or if it did or if it did not, and how was you able to kind of pivot, or what did you do?
Well, actually, first and foremost, what happened during COVID, all the lives that we lost is devastation. I'm very sad.
Definitely.
And I pray for all those families and people who have lost their jobs and things of that nature. On the other hand, COVID actually, during this 2020 was actually the best year of my life. And the reason why is because if you get ready, you don't have, if you get ready, you don't have to get ready. Exactly. And so in 2009, when I bought my first rental property, I had said, if the world ever comes to an end again, or we have a moment of panic, I'm going to buy everything under the sun, even children. I'm going to do whatever I have to do, kids, babies on the foreheads. I'm going to buy as much real estate. And so this actually was something I was waiting for over 11 years, over a decade. That's why I was saving my money, building and being disciplined, saying one day I'm going to use all this cash I just got.
Gotcha. Okay.
So during the pandemic, I bought 70 rental units, and I really bought them during the months of July and September. That's when I bought them. July, August, and September. I bought 70 rental units back to back.
Oh, let's get a round of applause on that, brother.
I appreciate that.
That's awesome. 70 units. Awesome.
70 units. And the reason why is because I was already ready. I didn't have to get ready. I already had the track record. Already had the relationships. Already had the intellectual capital, the financial capital, and social capital. So all I had to do was step up to the plate. And so I was extremely ready. So a lot of these owners were panicking. And they said, the world's come to an end. My tenants are not going to pay. What happened is that you have some landlords. When I was growing up, we had landlords, we had crackheads, we had drug dealers, we had and they all would get old. And so I said, I don't want to replace the drug dealer. I don't want to replace the barber. I don't want to replace the bus driver. I don't want to replace the doctor. I want to replace the landlord. And so what happened is that during the pandemic time, I was able to replace some of these landlords who wanted to retire, who actually didn't have enough money to fix their issues, that they couldn't wait out for the government to pay rent. So what we did is we bought underutilized, undermanaged properties, and I came in and fixed them up, rented them out, and was able to buy things at a discount. So COVID was a wonderful time for me. So I'm very fortunate.
So let me ask you something here, without getting too specific. How was these deals found? Was they on the local MLS, or was it your team?
So the way, and actually this is great, because the way we teach people to invest in my class is we do a funnel approach. We teach you how to analyze the macro data, and then we teach you how to analyze the individual deals.
Okay.
So I use the same framework that I've been using for a while, where we actually will teach you how to analyze the markets, and then teach you how to work with realtors that are licensed realtors. So we also teach you how to look for deals on your own on MLS. We also teach you how to work with wholesalers. We also teach you how to work with property managers who have their own portfolio of clients who want to get out of things. So we found those deals in an array of multiple ways: off market, on market. It was a number of ways.
Okay. And the reason why I asked that, because I think in this market here, literally throughout the country, people are looking for deals. You know, people reach out to me all the time. Hey, listen, what is there anything? And I'm like, well, unless you physically knocking on that door or doing something with that building owner, deal with them directly is tight. And not saying you can't get anything, but it's so challenging.
What is fascinating is that Actually, I found a lot of good deals just all at MLS over my career.
Okay.
And the thing is, it's very similar to like a stock picker. So Warren Buffett has access to the same 10Ks we all have to, and he also can look at where the stocks are trading. It's just that his eye is trained to analyze things differently. And so I bought 5 houses on the same block in Harrisburg on Dolphin Street. And I found it on MLS and I bought those 5 houses for $185,000. That's $37,000 per house.
Wow.
I didn't do anything on the inside or the outside. They already had tenants. I'm making a 30% cash on cash return. And so it's basically you figure out how to analyze markets and individual deals so you can be nimble. So if I teach you not only to be a skilled fisherman, but also teach you to move wherever the puck is, you'll be able to back the truck up and just get as much fish in any market around the country. So I think a lot of us just don't have this toolkit to figure out how to analyze markets. So we're just out there fending for ourselves. We have our up days, our down days. We're like Michael Vick. We're so gifted. We know how to run, we know how to throw, we know how to catch. The problem is that we haven't had a coach to teach us how to be a better runner, a better thrower, and a better catcher. So I take someone who could be lowly drafted like Tom Brady, and I'm like the Belichick, I'll help you become a champion. Or I'll take someone like Mahomes and Andy Reid, I'll help you become a champion. So the thing is that if you want to be a great athlete, or you want to be a great investor, join a great team, because they're going to give you the foundation, help you understand how to improve your game, and help you take it to the next level. So that's the approach that I encourage my team to use, and also the way I teach my students.
I love that. What you said, investing in different markets, right? Are you, what I'm hearing correctly, you are in Philadelphia. Why Philly and no other?
So I'm not only in Philadelphia.
Not only in Philly, okay.
When I first started, I was only in Philadelphia in 2009. Okay. Now I'm in about maybe 7 or 8 different cities.
Okay.
So what happened is I was very logical. So I started in Philadelphia and I started to see a shift. Then I started to invest in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Okay. I also invest in a few counties that are outside of Philadelphia, which is like Lansdowne, Drexel Hill, a number of towns that's surrounding Philadelphia. I also looked at a deal in Albuquerque, New Mexico. My students have invested in Indiana and Maine and Georgia and Alabama and Cleveland, Ohio, and Cincinnati, Ohio. So what we do is we try to teach you how to analyze all around the country.
All around the country. Okay.
Quick commercial break. If you're interested in a career in real estate, or you're a seasoned vet and you might want to change, new environment, you don't like the atmosphere you're in, the Headley Group Realty could be there to assist you with your career. What do we offer? Great culture, great environment, leads, and an awesome commission structure. Let us be there to support your business. One thing, you got to be in the state of North Carolina. Let's get back to the show.
So I know you mentioned so much about the course, right? Again, you seem like you're a very knowledgeable brother. You're not just actually speaking it, you're actually on the ground. I think that's the worst that can a lot of people do, is that they'll sell these courses without no actually groundwork to kind of back it up, right? I call them great salesmen. The course, what will people be getting, and where exactly can they get the course from?
Well, you can go to KAYJay Consulting IG page.
Okay.
And click on the link in our bio. And what we do in my course is I'm really, the boot camp, I'm really trying to take someone who either need to do their first deal or someone that needs help understanding how to do their next best deal. Okay. And so I teach you how to analyze the market from a top-down approach, where you're looking at crime, you're looking like income and all these different factors. And then I'm gonna teach you how to analyze individual deals, a 1 to 4 unit, where we're gonna use case studies. We're gonna teach you the BIRD method. We're gonna talk about creative financing. We're gonna talk about a HELOC, a home equity line of credit, a home equity loan. We're gonna talk about whether you should flip, whether you should hold. We're gonna talk about how do you actually put together a plan, a rehab plan. How much money should we use on this asset? And then you get an ebook, which is gonna be about 20 to 30 pages, which gives you step-by-step all the concepts and terms and frameworks and Excel that we talked about. And then what you're going to do is, because I don't believe in one-night stands, is we're going to do once a month check-ins at no additional cost for the next 12 months. And you also get access to my team and I with our brokers, our real estate agents, our property managers, our contractors. You get access to all of that for the low price of $349. So it's a one-time cost. So when people come to me and they say, I don't have $349, I tell them, look, follow my page free of charge for the next 349 days, but save $1 while you're doing it, and then come talk to me. I'm in no rush to force you to pay because I'm already rich. And so I just tell people, enjoy the ride. This is about my legacy. And then we have an apartment course where I teach you how to invest in 5 units and up, and teach you about syndication and give you access to my team. And that apartment course is like an 8-hour course. Both courses are virtual. And they are virtual, and you can find out about them by clicking the link in my bio.
You know, I like the fact that you gave them that accountability. Save $1. Yes, save $1 and then come back and circle back around and come see me. KAYR, if you had to go back, to yourself when you first got into the business, go back and it seemed like you literally done everything right. But I know probably behind the scenes, I wish I would have kind of not brought that one or added a bit of money to this one. If you had to ask yourself, go back and say, let me change this up, what would that be? What would you change?
Actually, the fact that and it's surprising, I actually have never done a bad deal. And the reason why is, if you think about the analogy I gave you earlier, if you have to focus on 50 computers, computer screens, you'll make a mistake. But I'm giving you 352 days to focus on one deal for the whole year. If you can't get that right, you're doing everything in your power. You're checking everything. You're only doing one at a time. You increase the odds that you're not going to make a costly mistake. And so therefore, that's why I haven't made any costly mistakes that I actually regret, because I took my time. So to go back, I don't think I would have changed any of the deals that I have done. I'm actually very happy with the approach I took, because I was very methodical and very careful about doing each of the deals, that I didn't use too much leverage. I didn't use hard money lenders, so no contractors ran off on me, because the contractors, what I would do is I want to make sure that they're licensed. I'm taking a picture of their driver's license. I'm taking a picture of their car tags. I'm doing everything. I'm going to look them up and license and inspection. So I was so careful that it really set me up to be in a very, very fortunate position. And I wasn't greedy. So I think that that's the reason why I don't have any major regrets, because I just took my time and just say, look, it's not worth it. I'm not going to hit myself over the head. And I was one of those people that was very humble. A lot of us get the ego because we don't have this mentality. What I tell people is, I want you to think like an NFL owner. And what I mean by that is, you come up with the vision for the franchise. You hire the general manager and you hire the football coach. And their job is to run the day-to-day business, find the players, do all that. And then the third thing you're supposed to do is watch everything unfold from afar. So get off the football field and get in the owner's suite. And so when you do that, you can focus on the big picture, sponsorship, selling tickets, making sure vacancies are low, making sure your occupancy is high, making sure that your relationships with banks and investors, everything is going right, making sure that you're doing well at your day job. And so that's what I was focused on. So therefore, I understood that I needed to surround myself with people who are smarter than me in order to reduce the risk of making mistakes. And so that's why I don't have any really big regrets, because I just was taking my time.
You said so many great things. One thing that I really liked about your story is the power of family, right? And you have your family in different positions within your organization. What made you go that route and says, because some people says, hey, keep your family at bay. What made you want to put your family on?
Perfect. And so what I call is, everybody talks about generational wealth, which is like a north to south concept, where I buy a house to my children 40 years from now, they're inherited, they're well off. That's very focused on just an individual. When I was growing up, I realized I wasn't the only broke person. My loved ones was broke, my family, my brothers, my sisters, my mother. I said, this can't go on, this can't work. And so the first person I gave money to when I was in college was one of my older brothers. I gave him $1,000 towards his down payment, even though I was a freshman in college with no money, because I realized that in order to change the trajectory of all our lives, we have to think about this concept from left to right. How do I put my loved ones on today, not 50 years from now? And so that made me start to think about things differently. So I said, when I get in the real estate business, I'm not just going to put myself on, I'm going to help my family. So I would do $1 million deal. I'll go convince my brother to get a real estate license. He said, I don't even know anything about it. How you going to put me on $1 million deal? I said, don't worry about it. You're going to learn today.
Exactly.
And so we'll get a $30,000 commission. He's able to buy a house for him and his wife and his 5 children. Now they're living in Abbotsford, going to a better school, and now they have wealth. The other thing is that he continued to work with me. He's able to give his in-laws $8,000 towards their down payment. Now they're no longer renters. Now they live in a duplex and they're landlords and they have assets. Well, other thing is my aunt, she helps with the cleaning. My other brother, he helps with the cleaning. So, and my niece and nephew were interns. What's happening is that I'm meeting people where they are. I'm not pulling them to who I am. So what happens is that we tend to try to make people who we are. No, meet people where they are. And the other thing we tend to do, especially with our family, is that we don't give our family the benefit of the doubt. We give a stranger the benefit of the doubt because we don't know personal issues. But when the last time you gave your loved one a second chance or a third chance? So I'm a big believer. Meet people where they are. I went to Ivy League school and got my MBA. I can't expect my brother who just has a high school diploma to think and act the same way I did. So I meet him where he is, and it's my job to teach. So when I meet my family members or any of my friends, my business partner in 2018, he had 0 rentals. Now he has 61 doors. He wasn't a millionaire before. Now he's a millionaire. So what happens in my apartment buildings, my family members, I don't only pay them from time to time. I also give them equity in my LLCs because I want my nephew and nieces, when they walk with their dad down the street and they see my building KAYR, I don't want them to say, Daddy, didn't you work with Uncle KAYR on that property and you were the broker? He's going to say, no. We're not only the brokers, we're part owners of that building. Because we own that today. They don't have to wait 50 years to take pride in ownership. So that is what I mean by transformational wealth. We have to be selfless. We have to be willing to give to others. I'm not self-made, I'm community-made. And so that's a big thing for me when it comes to my friends and family members.
Oh man, brother, like I said, you definitely gave us some great jewels. KAYR, we ask every guest 2 golden nuggets. Like I said, you gave us about 15, 20. 2 golden nuggets, whether that be a scripture, a book, a quote, or something that inspires you. Go ahead and give it to us.
Well, what I would say is that no matter what the world is throwing at you, I want you coming out the corner swinging. Some of us, my sister was murdered. My brother went to prison for attempted murder. He served 12 years, and this was during pivotal times. My parents, so when I was a junior in college, got my offer, my sister was murdered by the father of her 3 children. When I went off to college, my freshman year, my brother went to prison for attempted murder. When I was in my second year of business school, my parents, mother and father, died, my biological parents. But you know what? I didn't let it stop me. I didn't get too dark. I didn't get too low. What I did is I said, I'm gonna push through, I'm gonna persevere. So no matter what the world throw at you, I want you to keep coming out the corner. Another thing I will also suggest is that you find something in yourself that's gonna motivate you to wanna be a better person. So what happens is that we're always looking on outwardly. We're looking at everybody else and comparing ourselves. Compare yourself to who you wanna be. Don't become a victim of your circumstances. Become a victim of your dreams. And that's very important. Don't become a victim of your circumstances. Become a victim of your dreams. Fall so much in love with who you think you're going to be and who you want to be that you can't even think about the circumstances. They won't hold you back.
Brother, like I said, great stuff, man. I mean, we want to definitely, like I said, tilt our hat off to KAYJay Consulting, Mr. KAYR, who was actually a life business consultant, won numerous leadership awards. We want to continue to support this brother, and we want to thank you, brother, for taking the time for coming on our show. And now you are an alumni now, so we'll reach out to you soon, and maybe in the future months, just to come on back to the show and share some more of that insight.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the show, and thank you all, and we'll see you all next time on Headley Real Estate Show.
Hey gang, I hope you really enjoyed that show. Our guests provide us some great tips and insight, and please support them on all social media platforms. And while I'm saying that, support us on all social media platforms, and don't forget, watch the entire video on YouTube. We'll see you next time.